advocate against domestic violence, hoping to create a home for victims here in Pensacola.
And when I turned back around, a shotgun was facing me and he shot me.
Williams was shot in the stomach, killing her unborn baby she had named Jamie.
She saved my life. You're not alone. You're not alone. And if I came out, you can come out.
Well, good evening, and welcome to another edition of No More Silence. And I have my special guest with me tonight. She is the host of the show. I'm her guest. It's Mrs. Carolyn Williams. Carolyn, how are you?
I'm doing well. How you doing, Vernon?
I am well. It's another month, and we got another great show tonight for everybody to not to be silenced anymore. Okay?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So tonight, Vernon, you want to tell them what channels they can watch the show on?
Absolutely, Carolyn. Thank you. If you're looking at television, you can look at channel 12.1. It is on live as we speak now. Or if you don't have a television antenna, you can go on Roku and look at it on the Roku channel. You can go on Fire Stick and look at the Fire Stick channel. It's WBQ. Just type in WBQP. If you got your phone or your tablet, whatever, just go to the WBQP TV app. And it's there live on the WBQP TV app. We can go to our website. It's there at our website, WBQPTV.com. It's everywhere in the world, so you can't miss the show. And the good part about it is going to be there forever, because if you miss it now, you can pick it up at any time. Okay, at any time you can look at it. And we should be streaming on Facebook Live. We should be streaming on YouTube Live. We should be streaming, all the social media outlets and so forth. So and tell everybody about the channel and about this program. We host this program every the fourth Thursday of the month. It's a very important program, and Carolyn idea was to get the information out, because she does not want people to stay silent about this important issue of domestic abuse. Carolyn, I want to turn it back over to you.
Okay, Vernon, tonight I want to, we're going to talk about domestic violence, the effect it has on children. And first of all, before I get into that, I want to dedicate this show to my children. I want to dedicate it to my children. And tonight, that's what I'm doing. I'm dedicating this show to my children. My children was there when I was going through the domestic violence, so I'm dedicating the show to them. So, Vernon, if you would show the pictures of my children.
Yeah, I have some pictures here. And this is your children. Hang on for a minute. Okay, now it's better. Carolyn, these are your children. Go ahead and.
That's my oldest daughter. That's the one you say look like me.
Absolutely.
And that's Nancy. They call her Fancy Nancy. That's my baby.
She gorgeous. Ooh, no,
yeah,
I wish I was 60 years younger.
And that's Tori. That's the baby son.
Okay.
And this is Master Chief Freddie. He will be retiring from the military, 30 years from the Navy on June, I think it's June the 20th. So, yeah. So when I was in when I was in my domestic violence relationship, Shanita, the oldest girl, she was 6 years old. They're 2 years apart. So Shanita was 6 years old. She was the oldest child. So what I want you to know tonight is that, when I was in this relationship, Vernon, I had no clue. I didn't even think about the effects that it would have on my children. I didn't even think about that because I was so busy dealing with the abuse and trying to stay alive and stuff. And I had no clue of what it would do to my children. Every time that we would have an argument or we would have a fight or something, my children would be right there. They would either be around me, in the back of me, or either they'll be somewhere close by me. They will always stick close to me. So it's estimated that there are children who are exposed to domestic violence. It is 3.3 million.
Wow.
3.3 million children that are exposed to domestic violence, and 1 in 3 children are experiencing domestic violence. So that is a lot of children that is exposed to domestic violence. And what the victim that is in that situation, now what is happening, but by the grace of God, that my children, my live children, didn't get shot. My baby got killed, but they didn't get shot. But so many, what the abusers doing now, they're taking out the whole family.
Yeah.
They're taking out the children and the wife. They just, the whole family. They do not. It's like they don't care. And then they're killing themselves also. So parents
Absolutely.
need to, yeah, women need to realize that this is very serious, and they need to realize the effect that it would have on their children. And so some of the effects that it have on the children is that some children, what happened is they suffer with depression. Um, I was teaching at Global. I was teaching at one of the schools here, and I had a child that was in my classroom, and he would always bully, or either he would always hit on the girls. And I would ask him, I said, why are you doing this? Why are you so angry? Why are you always hitting on the girls? And he said, this is what my dad does to my mother. He saw his dad abusing his mother. So he was imitating what he was brought up in, what he saw. And he was very angry. Yeah.
Wow. You know, that is absolutely amazing, Carolyn, because people don't think that there is impact the children. What the children see, they take that stuff in unconsciously, and they carry it on through their lives. Wow. People have to be very, very careful what they do around children. And you know the sad part about it? It's not the children's fault. If they grow up to be
It's not.
abusers, it's because of what they seen and what they witnessed and so forth. So no more silence. Let's stop this wall of silence that nobody likes to talk about it. Okay, nobody wants, and I'm sure there are some reasons behind it, but it doesn't withstand the fact that you shouldn't. It's outweigh your right to stay silent does not outweigh the right for other people, putting other people's lives in danger. Say something if something is happening.
What Vernon, what they don't realize is that what happens is when they're in that relationship, the abuser, they take control and they keep them where they keep their mouth closed. But they don't realize that the most powerful thing you have is your voice. No
Right.
one would know that you're in it if you don't say anything. And that's the whole idea, is to keep them quiet. And I asked my ex-husband, the abuser, I asked him, I say, why? Why did you do this to me? And this is what he said. He said, I saw my father abuse my mother. So it is a learned behavior. And as a child, you don't know right from wrong. You don't know that this is a wrong thing to do. They just see it, and they think that it is the right thing to do. And
Wow.
so yeah, yeah. And not only that, when you have children that they want to spend time alone, say they're involved in sports, or they like sports, or something like that, and all of a sudden they don't want to do it. They want to also isolate themselves. So that is a sign that that child is in a abusive relationship. Drug and alcohol, to suppress it, to suppress, what they're dealing with. They don't know how to cope with it. They don't know how to deal with it. Also, I told you about also bullying. They will
Yeah.
bully other children. And what happens is society say that this child is no good. He's going to end up in prison and this and that. But they don't know what the child is dealing with. They don't know what the child is going through. They don't know what the child is seeing. So we label that child and say that child is never going to make it, instead of trying to find out what is going on. The reason why I tell my grandchild, I tell her every time, she say, well, I'm bad. I say, no, you're not bad. You just do bad things, but you are a good person. But you're
Right.
not bad. You just make bad choices. And
Right.
so we end up laboring children, saying because of how they respond, instead of saying, wait a minute, something is not right. Instead of wanting to sit down with that child and try to find out, why are you behaving this way? What is going on? It stems back to the family. It stems back to the home. And then you have a child that is just so angry and anxiety. And then a
Hmm.
child that is making good grades, and all of a sudden their grades is going down. Something is wrong. And a lot of times, like I say, when the mate is in this, the person that's being abused, they don't notice these things. They're not aware of these things. They're just trying to survive. It's not, and I wish society would stop, people would stop saying, well, if she cared about her children, she would get out of it. It's not that easy.
Carolyn,
It's easy for you to judge,
exactly. That's what I want you
but
to
you don't want to do anything about it.
let's you've been through this. You've been there and you've done that. And I hear people all the time that says that. Well, they deserve it and they understand it and all that kind of stuff. Please, please explain to people why people sometimes choose to stay in these kinds of relationships. It's not their fault, but explain to them why it is sometimes. If you can't, when you finish that, I come back with another question. Okay, try to explain to them
Because
as best you can why would one stay in those relationships.
what happens is that is a controlling spirit. It takes control of your mind. And what happens is that when you're in that, you can't think straight. You think that, what am I going to do? The person have controlled you so that you don't know, you don't have any finances. They're paying all the bills. You don't know, you don't want to separate from your father. You don't want the children to be separated from their father. And then he's threatening you that if you leave, he's threatening you that he's either going to kill the children or he's going to take the children. But to say that someone wants to go through that and be in that situation, no. They just don't know a way out.
Out. Right.
They don't know what to do to come out. No one wants their children to be in that situation. And they even threaten to tell you, if you leave, I'm going to kill you and the children.
Right.
So what do you do? What do you do? You stay there because you want to protect yourself and your children. And people don't understand that. But you know what, Vernon? I used to say the same thing. I used to say, you know what? I would never, ever let anyone hit me. I would never, ever let anyone abuse me. The thing I said I would never let happen to me, it happened to me. So you got to be careful what you say. Because even though you're saying that, it's 1 out of 4 women that are going through domestic violence. So therefore, you might have someone, it might be your daughter, it might be your grandchild, it might be your niece, it might be someone close to you. Just because you don't see it and you don't recognize it, don't mean it's not going on.
That's exactly right. And then people need to understand that and because maybe they're not in that situation and you can't blame them for some type of not understanding, but sometimes you got to help them along. And if you wanted to help somebody, all right, just don't judge them. Talk to them and find
Yeah.
out how they can help. But listen to the person that being victimized. Okay, don't look at it from your point of view. Look at it from the point of view of the person that's being abused and say, how can I get help? Carolyn, I know you learned a lot over these years, okay? And so much that you got a show now called No More Silence. So what do you tell these women that are listening to us right now that's in those same situations that you were in and they are afraid to speak out, or they feel hopeless as they don't know how to get out. They just don't know what to do. What is your recommendation to those women and men? Men get abused as well, but
Yeah.
it's predominantly women. But what would you tell those individuals?
Well, Vernon, I was just talking. I had someone that called me and said that they had a friend that was in a domestic violence relationship. And I called the woman and I asked her, I said, what do you want to do? I don't want to make the decision for them. I said, what do you want to do? And she said, I want to come out. I said, okay, if you want to come out, you just can't leave like that. I said, okay. She told me, she said, I pay all the bills. I say, well, is there any way that you can put some money aside? Like if you pay all the bill, put aside $50 here or some money there. She said, well, I've been doing that. I've been putting some money aside. And one of the things that she told me, she said, he is gaslighting her. She thinks she's actually crazy. She's been to the hospital and he's been saying that she's crazy, she's mentally ill. And what he has done is he has turned her son against her.
Right.
And now her son, yeah. And I told her, I say, what he's doing is he has a plan. He has a plan. The plan that he has is he's going to take the child. He's going to use the child in court to say that you're crazy. Something is wrong with mom. Oh, he's got a plan. I say, but you got to get a plan. I say, you need to get you a plan. I say, if you want to leave, you need to get a plan. I said, you need to get, what do you plan on doing? And she said that, okay, I'm going to get some money together. She said, what I'm going to do is, she said, I'm going to call, I told her, I said, why don't you call Favor House? I said, they have attorneys there. I said, they'll be able to tell you what you can do as far as your child. I said, because you just don't want to up and leave. I said, because what he's going to say is abandonment. You abandoned the child. You abandoned the relationship. I say, so you don't just want to leave. I say, so you need to call Favor House and they'll be able to connect you with an attorney and he'll be able to tell you exactly what you need to do and how you need to do it. So what I'm going to do, I talked to her last Saturday. So Saturday of this week, I'm going to do a follow-up with her and see exactly what she have done. Have she done anything? Yeah. Yeah.
Carolyn, you just put your finger on something that is so important, and probably the best recommendation you can give folks that's in those situations is to create a plan. Make a plan for what you intend to do. You don't have to implement that plan right now, but make a plan along the way. Okay.
Yeah.
I heard you say put your little resources away because you're gonna probably need a little bit of money. Take some clothes to your mama's house. Take some clothes to your aunt's house somewhere, and so that you can have a plan when you get ready to make that escape, if you will. Then you will have resources. You will have money. You will have some clothes. You will have somewhere to stay, or anything like that, so you can get out of there safe. And some folks, they just don't know. If they don't know how to call Favor House or somebody locally, they got national hotline that you can call. I had a number here for the national hotline. If people wanted to call a national hotline, they can do that. Sometimes they feel comfortable talking to folks that's not local, because sometimes it is a source of embarrassment. They don't want everybody to know that's what they're going through, and so call somebody. Don't sit in silence.
Also, Vernon, they can call me Jamie's house. I have a phone number. They can call Jamie's house. The thing that when I'm talking to them, they feel more comfortable talking to me because they know that I have been through that. And that's what you need to do is you need to empower them and say, what do you want to do? The first thing I asked her was, are you able to talk? Because I didn't want to talk to her if her husband was around. So I say, are you able to talk? That's the first thing I asked her, was she's able to talk, and she said yes. And then we had the conversation. But she's very hurt because she says she stays in this room, and she said that her son won't have anything to do with her, and her son thinks that she is the bad person. And then even I told her, I say, you got to realize, when he called the police, you need to be quiet. You don't need to say one word, because he's going to try to provoke you to say something. And the one that they see acting up, or the one that's being mouthy mouth and doing this, that's the one that they're going to take to jail. And she said he keeps he keeps choking her. And sometimes when they choke you, you don't see the marks. Sometimes the
Right.
marks are not there. I'm getting ready to go to a training now that's going to talk about strangulation. But a lot of times when they choke you, you don't see the marks. But the thing about it is, her son is becoming just like dad. He's been abusive. He's talking back to mom. He doesn't have any respect for her. He's calling mom that she's crazy. Going to the school and saying that my mom is crazy, so that can make him look like the good guy. And even her own mother is telling her she needs to go get help, because he has convinced the mom that something is wrong with her.
Mm.
And
Wow. It,
it's very difficult for her, very
yeah.
difficult.
And that's what people have to realize, Carolyn, because abusers are very manipulative. They're very
Yeah,
manipulative.
yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
you can't
Mm-hmm.
take their word at face value, because they got their own self interest at stake here. And
Mm-hmm.
so talk to somebody, get with somebody, a friend, somebody that like I say, even a perfect stranger. Just call the hotline. Somebody can give you some good advice that can help you along the way, Carolyn. So
Yeah, 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 yeah. And not only that, I didn't do my son, my oldest son. I used to buy guns and stuff, the toy guns and stuff.
right.
And he had a toy gun, and he was playing with his sister, the youngest girl, Nancy, and they was just playing. And he had a gun, and he said, "You know what?" He said, "I'm gonna shoot you like James shot mom." And from that day forward, I never allowed my children to have play guns.
Wow.
Now, I didn't see a lot going on with the younger children, but my oldest daughter, I did take her to counseling, and I did receive counseling also. So if you're in that situation, I suggest that you go at the school. Even at the school, they have a social worker at the school. You need to go and talk to someone at the school and let them know, okay, this is what's going on in the home. If the child is acting up, this is the reason why. So that they can know what's going on, and they would think that the child is not just being rebellious or something like that, or just don't want to obey or do what they're supposed to do. Talk to that social worker, and that social worker can call them in. They will tell you about the resources that is available. You can call the what is that, the mental health center. You can call
Hmm.
them and get counseling for your children. You need the sooner you could do something about it, is get that counseling, the better it will be. And
Absolutely.
so they can get them into counseling. Also, you can call 211. If you call 211 and you let them know, okay, I'm going through this, or my child is going through this, or I'm in a domestic violence relationship, what do I need to do? What resources do you have out there? There are so many resources. If you want to relocate, there is funds that is available to help you to relocate. There is funds that is available if you want to get a place to stay. Open doors. They provide housing, and there is so much that is available for you. You don't have to stay in that relationship. You don't have to stay in it. You don't have to stay in it. There's free child care. You'll be able to get free child care, food stamp, a check, whatever you need to be able to better yourself. It is available to you, so you don't have to stay in that situation. And
Wow.
also, with the child is, if you know a child that's in that situation, you can listen to that child. So many times what we always want to do is we want to give advice. Even when I was talking to the young lady, I was just listening. I didn't give her any advice. I listened to what she said and what she was saying, and then I respond. But so many times we don't listen to children. We don't listen to the person that's in that abusive relationship. We want to always give advice. And a lot of times what we're doing is we're being just like the abuser. We're controlling them, telling them what they need to do. You need to do this, you need to do that. No. Put it back on them. Empower them. See what they want to do. So listen to that child. Yeah.
Carolyn, we got 3 minutes. We got 3 minutes to wrap it up. You tell them what you need to know in 3 minutes, then we'll pick them up again next month.
Okay. If you're in a abusive relationship and you have children, I want you to think about the impact that it has on your children. I know that you don't want to be there. I know that as a mom or either a father, you want what's best for your children. If you want what's best for your children, you can no longer keep your mouth closed. You can no longer keep your mouth closed. No one would know that you're going through that if you won't say anything. You don't have to be ashamed. Like I said, it's 13 million children. 13 million children that are going through that. So you don't have to be ashamed. You need to pick up the phone and you need to call someone. If you have a loved one, if you have a family member, if you have a friend, say something. Maybe you might not be ready to come out now, but let them know exactly what is going on. You don't have to die in silence. You don't have to go to your grave, be killed. You can live. You can live through. I came out, and you can come out also. But you got to say something. Vernon, I finally said something to my sister. My sister was the one that paid for my divorce. My family didn't have no clue of what I was going through. And I talked to my sister, and she said, Carolyn, you don't have to go back into that. My sister Rachel, she gave me the money to be able to get a lawyer and to be able to come out of that. Now, if I had been shamed, I wouldn't have got the help.
Right.
If I hadn't said anything, I wouldn't have got the help.
That's true. The bottom line. Okay, go ahead. But the bottom line is get help. No more silence. You know, this time goes so quick, Carolyn. We might have to extend it. It goes so quick. We got less than a minute here to go, but I want folks to know. And there's you got a website there that they can call you on your check out on your website or give you a number. There's a number there we can call. If you want to be a host on the show, you can call this number, and this is number to help me out, Carolyn. James' house. His number to James' house. Yeah.
291-4624. If you want to call me, whatever we discuss, you don't have to worry about no one knowing about it. I also have a cash app, $ Jamie's house. If you want to donate to the Jamie's house, you can also do that also.
Okay. All right, Carolyn, we got to get out of here, and thank you so much, Sugar, for bringing this important program. Folks, we'll see you again the fourth Thursday of every month so that you can tell everybody about this program. Carolyn, thank you. We'll see you next month, okay?
Thank you. Good night.
Good night, y'all. Good night.